Bienvenidos! Today we're going to talk about stem changing verbs in the present tense in Spanish. Stem changing verbs are just verbs in Spanish that have a spelling change when we conjugate them in the present tense. And I'm going to talk about three of the main types of stem changers in Spanish. The first verb is dormir. And when we see this verb listed to sleep, dormir, we know it's a stem changer because there's a little parenthesis next to it that says O and then a colon and UE. And that tells us that this verb, when it's conjugated in the present tense, the O changes to UE in all of the forms except the nosotros form. So let's look at this verb conjugated in the present tense. So dormir, it's an O to UE stem changer. So in the yo form, the O becomes UE, duermo, duermo. And in the tu form, duermes. Now in the nosotros form, there's no stem change, so it's just dormimos. Oh, I forgot the el, ella, usted form, duerme, so the O changes to UE. Nosotros form, no change, the O just stays in O, so it's dormimos. And then the ellos, ellas, ustedes form, duermen. The reason these are called stem changers is because the stem of the verb, dorm, is where the change, the spelling change happens. That's called the verb stem. So dorm is the verb stem. And all we do is change the spelling in the verb stem. So that's why they're called stem changing verbs. Now another example is entender, to understand, entender. Now when we see it in the infinitive form with the parenthesis next to it, it says that it's an E to IE stem changing verb. And the reason I chose this verb as an example is because when we look at dormir, let's go back here for a sec. Dormir, it's clear when it says O to UE that there's only one O in dormir, and we know that that is going to change to UE. But entender is E to IE. Which E is going to change? There are three E's in this verb. So because it's a stem changing verb, clearly that E is not involved in the spelling change because that's going to drop off when we conjugate the verb. So that leaves us two other E's in the verb to contend with. Now, for stem changing verbs, the stem change happens in the vowel closest to the end of the stem. So closest to the end of the verb. So in this case, when we take off the ending, the second E is the one that's going to do the changing. Because it's closest to the end of the verb. So that E is going to do the stem changing. And it's going to change from E to IE. So the yo form is entiendo, entiendo. The tu form, entiendes. Entiende, el, ella, usted form. Entendemos, because we have no stem change in the nosotros form. And in the el, ella, usted form, entienden. Okay? So we have O to UE, E to IE, and then another common stem changing form is E to I stem changers. Repetir is a verb that has an E to I stem change. So the yo form for repetir, we're going to change that E to an I. Repito, repito, repites, repite. Repetimos, because there's no stem change in the nosotros form. Repiten. So the most common types of stem changers are O to UE, E to IE, and E to I, and the stem change always happens in the vowel closest to the end of the stem of the verb.